Welcome to Dividend Income. In this video I'm going to talk about the incredible story of Ronald Read, the secret millionaire dividend investor. When Ronald Read passed away on the 2nd of June 2014 at the age of 92, it received mass media coverage after he left $1.2 million to Brooks Memorial Library and $4.8 million to Battleborough Hospital. A very nice gesture indeed, but for someone who had just been working as a janitor for 17 years prior to his retirement, it just did not add up. Imagine the shock of his former work colleagues. During his lifetime, Ronald had accumulated almost $8 million. So how did Ronald Read accumulate all his wealth? Through living a very frugal life and buying stocks in companies that paid dividends. It was a slow burn that eventually snowballed over decades. Looking back at his working history, after graduating from Battleborough Union High School in 1940, he enlisted in the United States Army, working as a military policeman in North Italy. He reached the Army rank of Technician 5th grade. At the end of 1945, he was honourably discharged and travelled back to Battleborough. He then worked as an attendant and mechanic at Havilland's service station with his brother Fred, eventually buying it together and selling it upon retiring in 1979. Ronald only retired for 1 year before working at J.C. Penney for 17 years as a part-time janitor. He then retired again in 1997. He bought his first shares in 1959. That would have been at the time of him working at Havilland's service station. So that is 55 years of investing, if he fully continued in his later years all the way up to 2014. Even if he stopped investing his own money a few years before, the compound interest from reinvesting the dividends would have been incredible. So how much of his income was he investing? According to friends, he saved approximately 80% of his income. Based on his frugal living, it would have been possible. He would not buy material things and chose to put as much as he could into the stock market, often at the expense of his appearance. He would use a safety pin to hold together an old worn-out jacket. At a restaurant he frequently visited, a patron paid for a meal because he thought he couldn't afford it. His most expensive prized possession was a 2007 Toyota Yaris, valued at around $5,000. He parked in the furthest away car parking spaces to avoid paying parking meters. Bridget Bokum, his local Wells Cargos advisor, quoted, "If he could save a penny, he would." So, after buying his first shares in 1959, what companies did Ronald Read invest in? I found this on the Dividend Growth Investor website. The original source was from Claire Johns, who was the executor of Ronald Read's estate. These are 10 of Ronald Read's biggest holdings. All 10 of these holdings pay dividends. So we can see from down the list, we've got Wells Fargo with his biggest holding at $510,900, Procter & Gamble, Colgate-Palmolive, American Express, James Smucker, Johnson & Johnson, VF Corp, McCormick, Raytheon, and United Technologies. It doesn't specify how many shares he had for each company, only the total amount the stocks were worth. I have checked back to see how much each stock was worth on the 2nd of June to get a rough guide of how many shares he had of each. I don't know when Claire Johns assessed the valuation. It may have been a few weeks after, so the stock prices would have fluctuated. This is a rough guide. Unfortunately, United Technologies merged with Raytheon, so I can only find the dividend payment for Raytheon. So if we look down here, the share amount in June was $51.17 for Wells Fargo, $80.67 for Procter, $68.27 for Colgate, $92.11 for American Express, $102.83 for James Smucker, Johnson & Johnson $102.26, VF Corp $63.58, and McCormick $36.20. Raytheon $58.77. So I've only been able to use it for the 7 because of United Technologies merger. So if we divide the stock price at the time by the total amount that each stock was valued, we come to the shares. Wells Fargo was 9,984, Procter & Gamble 4,512, Colgate 3,692, American Express 2,160, JM Smucker 1,845, and so on. So from this, I've checked what each dividend payment per share was in June 2014. For each stock listed here, then multiplied it by the amount of shares he had at the time to figure out what the dividend payments were. If we look at Wells Fargo, they were paying 30 cents back in June 2014, times the amount of shares, gives a payment of $2,995.30. Procter & Gamble $2,904, Colgate-Palmolive $1,329, and so on. Without taking it into account United Technologies, that works out at $13,546.34 quarterly, and $54,185.36 annually. Now, the majority of people in the world would be very happy, well, beyond happy with those sort of dividend payments. But on top of that, Ronald owned stocks in a further 85 companies, 95 in total, concentrating in companies that paid generous dividends. There is very little information about the other companies online. I'm not sure if further information was released or if it is confidential. Bridget Bokham, together with Claire Johns, the executor of Read's will, said that they had to go through a 5-inch thick stack of stock certificates to determine his exact worth. If anyone out there has a breakdown of all the investments or know of any other companies, please let me know in the comments. It is reported that his portfolio was well diverse, owning stocks in railroads, utility companies, banks, healthcare, telecom and consumer products. These are the only ones I've been able to find out online. CVS Health, JP Morgan, General Electric, Dow Chemical Company, Pacific Gas and Electric, and AT&T. Since I don't know Ronald Read's entire portfolio breakdown, we can try and work out the average yield of his $8 million. If we were to estimate that the average yield for the $8 million was 3%, that would pay $240,000 a year, averaging $20,000 a month, which would give you a lavish lifestyle, allowing you to enjoy life to its fullest. In Ronald Read's case, though, these would be fully reinvested. Thanks for watching. A quick disclaimer now. As always, you should do your own research when investing. I'm not a financial advisor, and these are my personal views. The purpose of this video is to give you additional information and hopefully help in making informed decisions. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Here are a couple more videos you might be interested in.